This week, I think we all felt that we lived in the theatre of the absurd and the ridiculous. The United Nations, UNESCO, as we all know, passed a resolution that the Jewish people have no historic connection to the city of Jerusalem. I think Abba Eban, the famous foreign minister of Israel of yesteryear, put it brilliantly, where he said that if the United Nations passed a resolution that the world is flat and the Jewish people flattened it, it may very well pass with a significant majority. UNESCO, the United Nations Education, Science and Cultural Committee. Indeed, from a scientific point of view, based on archaeology agreed upon by all the serious universities in the world and across the board in Israel, from left to right, with thousands and thousands of artifacts, prove beyond any shadow of a doubt that what is written in the Tanakh and the Torah as to the history of Jerusalem can be proven from the time of King David without a shadow of a doubt. And yet, in the face of all the science and culture and education, such a ridiculous resolution can be passed. Incredibly, in the Torah, and indeed in the beginning of the Torah, Bereshit, that we begin to read again this week, we have so many of the secrets of the creation, not only of the world, but of the essence of human destiny and our human struggles. And there are two clear allusions of our rabbis to Jerusalem and the struggles around it in this week's parsha. The first one is we know that the stone at the center of the Temple Mount is called the foundation stone, in the Hebrew Even Hashtiyah. And our sages say in Masechet Yoma, page 54b, why is it called the foundation stone? Because from this Mimena Hushtat Haolam, the world was founded and created. At the core and essence of the world, inextricably linked to its destiny, is indeed Yerushalayim and the battle over Yerushalayim. And secondly, and famously, the first murder, the first real struggle between two human beings, the first two children and brothers, fought over what? The one, Cain killed Hevel, Cain kills Abel because Abel's sacrifice in chapter 4 is accepted. But what was at the root of the struggle? The Midrash Rabbah in Bereshit chapter 23 gives a number of answers, and there is an incredibly fascinating one which it says they were struggling, fighting over Jerusalem. All the other land issues they could resolve. Who took what they could resolve? The only land issue they could not resolve was Jerusalem. Who would have the Temple Mount? Incredibly, the Palestinians know that, many people in the world know that this is the crux of the issue. That's why it's so much easier, as difficult as it is to resolve land issues in Northern Ireland, even in South Africa and in other difficult places. But Jerusalem somehow goes to the essence of all of humanity. I want to end and say how privileged we are for so many things, but two things I want to highlight. Number one, that we have the Torah, which in this is the blueprint of the world, and so many of the insights and wisdom of what humanity, the Jewish people's role and what humanity is all about. And secondly, how privileged we are to live in a generation where Jerusalem is ours, all the holy sites are open to all, freedom of religion to all, that whatever decisions UNESCO makes, and we need to fight and we need to know how to deal with all these challenges, some more ridiculous than others, we know, thank God, that in reality, by the grace of God, we have a Jerusalem. We're entering now into the 50th year since the reunification of Jerusalem, a momentous year in Jewish history. How privileged we are to revisit the Torah and to live in the generation that we live in. Shabbat Shalom.